The British economy has turned into a complete mess. The economy hasn't been growing for years. In fact, it seems like the British economy has been stagnating for almost 20 years. Britain has everything it needs to grow the economy. It has a proper infrastructure, it has a very advanced economy with a GDP per capita that is 4 times of China. London is still the second capital, the financial capital of the world. There is enough wealth in Britain to fix the British economy and make it great again. So why exactly the British economy is not growing? Well, to answer that question, you have to go back as far as 2008. When the economy collapsed, or the global economy collapsed, Britain took a very important strategic decision that the UK will no longer be investing in the UK, but rather it will be investing overseas, especially in the United States. If you look at the UK's holdings of US government bonds, you will realize that starting from around 2011 and 2012, that number has been staggeringly increasing every single year. That today, British financial institutions hold around $900 billion in US government bonds. These are investments that are made by pension funds, insurance companies, mutual funds, and banks. $900 billion of British money that could be invested in the UK is now invested in the United States. That's when you understand that British businesses made a very strategic decision that they could make far more money in the United States than in the UK. So the capital outflow began out of the UK aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis. Think for a moment what would have happened if that $900 billion would be invested in the British infrastructure, in British startups, and the British companies. But instead, that money was invested in the United States. And that's why, since 2008, the US economy has grown way faster than the British economy. The proportion of British financial institutions into UK investments have gone down considerably since 2012 at least. Back in 2012, investments in the UK equity market has gone down from 30% to as low as below 10% by 2023. So Britain continues to produce wealth. British companies continue to make a lot of money. British citizens are paying their pensions and that money is going to the government. However, most of that money is leaving the UK and going overseas, especially the United States. So what exactly has happened? After the 2008 financial crisis, when the UK was still part of the European Union, a lot of investors were worried that the European Union is going to collapse because the Greek debt crisis dragged down the entire European Union, and the entire union had to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out these small little countries that took so much wealth. Many analysts back in the days expected that the European Union is going to collapse, and that will have a devastating impact on the entire European Union and the United Kingdom. Yes, the United Kingdom was not part of the euro. However, it would have been impacted greatly if the European Union would have collapsed. So it took a few years for the European Union to recover. But by the time the European Union recovered, the United Kingdom took a very strategic decision to get out of the European Union. And that was the second bad decision that the kingdom has taken. The most important thing in today's market is the consumer market. If you're a business and you want to maximize your profits, you want to sell your products to as many consumers as possible. So the bigger the consumer market, the more money you could possibly make. And that's why United States is at the top of the game, because it's the largest consumer market in the world. That's why China is the second largest economy in the world, because China has about 1.5 billion people that you can sell to. And that's why so many companies want to have strong relationships with China. But if you look at the British consumer market, suddenly you see that it's about $2 trillion. Is that a lot? Yes, it makes it one of the largest consumer markets in the world, alongside Germany and France. But the advantage that Germany and France has over the United Kingdom is the fact that they are part of the European Union when the entire consumer market is about $10 trillion. So if you're a British business and the UK is leaving the European Union and you have a choice, do you want to sell exclusively in the British market or you want to sell in the European market. Of course, ideally, you want to sell in both of these countries. However, when the UK left the European Union, they did not have a trade agreement. So many businesses were forced to choose the European Union, and that's where a lot of businesses started to move out of the UK to the European Union simply because they could have made far more money in the European Union. The UK is simply not big enough to have enough people in order to compete with the European Union, the United States, or China. The population of the UK is about 50 to 60 million people, which is literally a fraction of the US population or the European population or the Chinese population. Either you are going to have a free trade agreements with these countries so that your companies can freely trade in those nations, and if you can't do that, then you are going to lose. And that's why so many countries are so desperate to sign free trade agreements with China, because they will have the entire Chinese market or the US market. That is the leverage that Donald Trump is using against those nations, because they know that everybody wants to sell in the United States. So he can actually charge them a 10% tariff. And now after the Brexit, British companies have another problem, which is an extra tariff that they have to pay if they want to sell in the United States. So now they have to make a choice. Either stay and become and continue being a British company, or maybe close down your factories in the UK and move them to the United States, where you will be able to avoid that extra 10% in tariff. And who knows, maybe the next president of the United States is going to raise the tariffs a lot higher than 10%. Prior to Brexit, a lot of American firms or international firms used to move their headquarters from the rest of the European Union to the United Kingdom, because London was the second financial capital of the world, and it's still the second financial capital of the world. And since the UK was part of the European Union, they had access to the entire European free market, which is why it was very profitable for the UK to be part of the EU. As a business, as a CEO of a business, your primary motivation is to maximize your profits. So if you have to move to a different country to maximize your profits, obviously you're most likely going to do that. Since then, the UK has been going through a political turmoil, a political crisis. There hasn't been a prime minister that served for at least 4 years. Some prime ministers have been serving for less than 2 months. And that political turmoil is creating a lot of uncertainty. Imagine if you're a business. The most important thing that you want is to know what exactly is going to happen so that you can plan your next 5 years, your next 10 years. But since prime ministers in the UK are changing so fast, policies are changing so fast, strategies are changing so fast, you as a business cannot possibly plan for at least the next 5 years. That uncertainty is pushing businesses away from the United Kingdom to many other nations where doing business is a lot easier and a lot more sustainable. And that led to a higher cost of borrowing. Most of the countries today rely on borrowing money to fund the infrastructure projects, to fund the entire country. And the cost of borrowing determines how much you're going to pay in interest. The more reliable you are, the more predictable you are, the more disciplined you are, the cheaper it is for you to borrow money. Germany can borrow a lot more money at a lower interest rate than the UK, because Germany has proved itself to be financially much more responsible, its economy is much more resilient. Even if you compare, for example, the United Kingdom to a country like the United States and you take 30-year government bonds, you realize that the United States is borrowing money at 4.6% in interest rate. But the United Kingdom is borrowing at 4.2%. And that's because it's far more riskier to loan money to the UK than the United States, even though that the United States has the largest debt that humanity has ever seen. When we account for 30-year government bonds, we always assume that long-term inflation rate is going to be 2%. Yes, if you take short-term government bonds, you will actually see a very huge difference, because inflation in one country could be higher than inflation in another country. But when we take a look at the long-term government bonds, that's when we realize that, yes, it's actually much more expensive for the UK to borrow money. So, you've actually borrowed so much money over the last 20 years. Now the cost of borrowing has risen dramatically because there is so much instability. Refinancing your debt suddenly becomes a huge problem, and now you have a very serious budget problem. And because you don't know how to solve that budget problem, you have another political crisis. You have more politicians coming in with their suggestions. None of these suggestions are actually going to work because everybody's like, if you want to cut spending, you're not going to cut it on these specific things because if you do that, I will no longer be re-elected. I will lose my job. So I'm not going to allow that to happen, which is why I'm going to vote against it. At the end of the day, the simple solution is to have a very strong political leader at this point who is going to put everything in order and is going to cut spending and is going to fix the economy. Higher cost of borrowing created the problem in the budget, which led to more political problem. More political turmoil, more political instability forces more businesses to get out of the UK because you don't know how to plan and you're not sure if you will continue making more money. The government becomes unpredictable. And now we even hear news about that the UK wants to introduce the wealth tax. They're raising taxes. We see so many rich people leaving the UK. If the UK is going to continue on this trend, probably in 5 to 10 years, it is going to lose its status as the second financial capital of the world. And when that happens, more wealth is going to get out of the UK, and there won't be a single competitive advantage that the UK will have over the rest of the world, especially the European Union. The UK will simply become another small market where you can do simply business with. And the UK, with its limited powers, cannot possibly sign trade agreements that are favorable to the United Kingdom. The British problems are financial problems, but they cannot possibly be solved unless the political side of the spectrum will be solved, because that political turmoil is reinforcing uncertainty about the future, which is leading to more capital outflow. If you fix that, and the capital outflow of the UK out of the UK will stop, then the British economy most likely is going to grow again and will dominate the world just like it did once upon a time. Well, of course, that's very unlikely because geographically and demographically the UK is very limited, but nonetheless. And that's why you should never count on politicians. That's why you cannot possibly trust these people who are running the country. Because if you do that, you will end up in a political turmoil since these people are thinking about themselves. These politicians are not ready to cut spending because they're thinking about being re-elected and not about the prosperity of the country. Whether the United Kingdom will succeed at fixing its financial problems, that's a big question. But whether that happens or not, the global economy will continue growing and the stock market will continue rising. So if you want to know what are the top 5 stocks that you should be buying right now to take the best advantage out of the market, then check out the first link in the description of this video. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.